What's going on, everyone? It's been a interesting day, to say the least. And we're going to have a little discussion here, a little round table. Can we talk about what the heck is going on with Alex Jones and Corsi, too? I mean, I guess he's getting subpoenaed in Mueller's investigation. And Jack Posobiec. So, today, if you are unaware, Jack Posobiec drops his long-awaited, long-anticipated Q debunking piece, where he goes into these apparently chat logs and names this guy named Microchip, etc., etc. Pretty weird. I mean, I've been following Q pretty deeply for how many months now, and only recently have I heard of this guy. And he proceeded, I mean, even One American News Network aired it, and I'm fairly disappointed in them. And not only do we get that, but we get a press conference. Yes, press conference with ON banners behind him, dressed up in his suit and tie for his online press conference, where he officially announces to the world, Jack does, that he has debunked the fraud that is Q. Literally, I saw nothing of substance in there. And if anything, it's just all made up information. Completely made up. It's like mainstream media style tactics, right? The information itself is made up, and then the narratives, the talking points are very said with confidence. They're ingrained into us, you know? And then the representative, the media representative, uses their social media accounts, such as Twitter, to consistently hound home what they want the viewer, the user, to think about them. For instance, I think on Jack P's Twitter, he just said, "Raise your hand if you're against deep state operatives being treasonous and against the will of the people," or something like that. And I'm like, aren't you kind of doing that? Lying to us a lot? A lot. And not only that, but saying, you know, bad information about a range of subjects. You see, the very first time that I really started scratching my head about Jack P was actually when he was on Alex Jones. And I mean, before that, he did the whole, like, reversal on Pizzagate, and that pissed a lot of people off. But I always hold people in, like, the highest regards. I say, you know, maybe there was some circumstances that caused him to do that I don't know. Threatening, you know, he doesn't want to be reamed in the mainstream media, etc., etc. So I was like, okay, whatever. He can flip on Pizzagate. But then I saw Jack P on INFOWARS, none other than AJ. And here they were talking about the secret space program, a 10-minute segment devoted no information to the actual secret space program. But here they were hyping up the Space Force because it was in the news. You know, it gets clicks. Space Force, secret space program. And the title of the video was, "Is Donald Trump declassifying the secret space program?" There was nothing in there about the SSP at all. Total fluff piece. And at the very beginning, Jack said, you know, I can't... They actually, like, cut this into the beginning because it sounded so fancy. He was like, "I can't speak on classified programs," etc., etc. As if he had been read in on them or has any kind of authority. You see, they... boom, appeal to authority right there. So they set you up for bullshit the rest of the way. And I was like, oh my God, this is just, it's a terrible piece, totally misinforming. And not only that, but it is pretty much a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face, and it's totally disrespectful for the whistleblowers and insiders who are ex-military and who are ex-intelligence, who are trying to tell their story to the world about black projects, about the ET phenomena, about secret space programs, and the majority of the world is laughing at them, but they're having the courage to try to get it out there anyway because of how passionately they feel for these truths to be disclosed. And then here we go and look at frickin' INFOWARS, the Jack Posobiec on there, and they're slapping them all in the face, not saying anything about the actual black projects. So, and then claiming they can't because they're classified programs. Well, no, they're illegal programs, they're unacknowledged programs, so you actually can talk about them. And there are a lot of people who have and do bring their testimony forward. So that's the first time that I was like, oh man, these guys, you know, at least Jack P, I'm like, oh man, controlled opposition. For a long time, I had been floating the idea of Alex Jones being controlled up. I mean, for years, even before I started the YouTube thing, I was like, yeah. But then that happened, and that was, what, maybe, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago that aired. Back when the Space Force was a big thing, so maybe about that time. And now, today, and especially with the recent Q stuff, Jack P is just going downhill, like losing his credibility, literally lying, like, because at this stage, at this passion that he has, how adamant he is about him exposing the issue and talking to the creators of QAnon, it's like you can't think that he's just caught up in his ego and doesn't see that he's lying, right? Like, there's so much obvious information contrary to his opinions that he has to be being paid. Like, paid, or who knows? Like, who knows? I don't, personally. But, of course, I don't know. I've never talked to him. But I just see the information he puts out there, and it's very bad. So he, you know, claims to be ex-military intelligence, but I'm just scratching my head like, bro, where's the intelligence? Like, the dots aren't connecting with what you're saying. And not only that, but it's just substanceless. And then his Twitter looks cool, so he gets a lot of followers there. And then he gets some mentions in mainstream media and whatnot. But aside from that, it's substanceless. And then talking about Alex Jones. So today, Alex Jones is in front of Congress, goes into, you know, Mark Rubio's face, essentially, and is talking about, oh, censorship of conservatives on the internet. You know, what really, like, irks me is that when either Alex Jones, the INFOWARS platform, or some of their followers try to claim that the censorship started with AJ. It never started with AJ. I got my YouTube channel deleted and struck in way before this recent debacle he's been dealing with. And not only that, but they try to act like it's conservatives themselves, like that label that's being silenced. And the truth is being silenced all across the board, not just with, of course, political ideology, which, yes, conservatives, much more than the other end of the spectrum, tend to align themselves with more truthful matters, matters that expose the deep state. But it's not just there. You have, you know, vaccine science and health information that's suppressed and ridiculed and censored. Information regarding space is censored. I've been there, I've seen that, and all across the board. I mean, recently even, I'm going to do a video on this in the next few days, but I've been seeing people trying to sell Organite, even. Organite, this stuff, and they're getting censored off of Etsy and some other third-party selling platforms. So, there's that. It's much more than a conservative thing. And not only that, but hey, look at the eyeballs that AJ is getting with his recent shenanigans. Right? That's something I don't think a lot of people are seeing. A lot of people have their false idols that they're attaching to, or, you know, they're emotionally tied into particular people or whatever the case is. And a lot of people are in Alex's case. And it's like so many new eyes. I mean, he's got his app, his newsletter, etc., etc. Millions of new people are following him now. And conveniently, he doesn't talk about Q. He not only does not talk about Q, but there's a lot of other subjects he doesn't talk about. We were just discussing the secret space program part. You mentioned the word, like, extraterrestrial anywhere near him. Who knows what kind of reaction you'd get. And yeah, so like I said, there's just a lot of other subjects he doesn't talk about. And the way he's talked about particular subjects is very, I mean, he drives them into it, not only a particular narrative, but to a particular emotion. Very emotionally charged. Not very balanced. Very rational. And that emotional charge scares a lot of people. And not only that, but it makes him very easy to marginalize. So they can marginalize conspiracy theories very efficiently with an actor like Alex Jones in play. And I just look, I'm like, man, with that kind of platform, like if I had that platform, a radio show for 25, 30 years, with all those connections and all those people on, a big fancy studio, big screens behind me, and good mics right in my face, like, This is all he's done in 25 years? Man, that's it. Give me that. See what I can do in 25 years. Let's put this into objective perspective here. I personally know people that the INFOWARS platform and Alex Jones has never asked to be on. And they're people that have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers, and they are in the disclosure, the truthing movement, right? Be perfect people to have on, but nope, AJ doesn't do that. He wants to isolate himself. He only wants to have people on where he can talk about certain things and then bend the narrative whatever way that he and or his handlers tell him to put it in, right? So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on both of them. You know, truly, it hurts. It like hurts my soul to see people so immature. To be honest, like, and it I get like anxiety saying that because here I am, a freaking 27-year-old young man, male, 27, and I'm like trying to talk sense and help people critically think that are far older, that have, I don't want to say more experience than me, because I have experience just in different realms and regards, but you can say just more life experience. But shit, I'm like, why are you guys being such dinguses? What? A, not critically thinking. B, lying. C, like, what are we doing here? Quite honestly, what are we doing here? It's not that tough to... Oh, I guess it is tough for some people. But at least I wish it wasn't this tough to just calm down that ego. Calm down that ego. You know, you don't need to listen to what they're saying or what they're saying. You don't need to take that dirty money or that dirty money. Like, just get to the bottom of the matter, get to the truth of the matter, whether it's uncomfortable or not, whether you're going to get all these financial resources or not. Just, man, because just come to the truth of the matter. Just try to figure out what the heck's going on and what's real and not real. Thought all that BS. Apparently it's tough. Somebody asked if I have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. By any means, I consistently say I don't. But the thing I do that may or may not be different from a lot of people out there is that I don't have this belief system that I'm attached to. So when it comes to information, I can take information and I'm not emotionally charged by it. So I can look at it very objectively and see what fits and what doesn't fit. Not only that, but I don't have any handlers behind me telling me what I can and can't say. So I don't have the answers. I just have a keen mind. I you know, don't ridicule or look down on any information. Just look at what I talk about. And, you know, I don't have people telling me what I can and can't say. Good question here. When is the revelation with Q coming to a head? You know, I don't think it's about coming to a head per se. It's about a process that we needed to get moving. We needed to start warning the public about, and it is. It's like a continuous step by step, right? So, mind you, when this Q operation began at the end of October in 2017, it wasn't the beginning of any kind of white hat or patriot movements. It's been going on for years, if not decades. It just got to a point where they had to start alerting the public. And the only way they could alert the public was, yes, through frickin' 4 and 8chan. Because it's anonymous. You can keep the people who are posting, giving the information, secret. So they're not in danger. They're not going through any media sources, whether it is mainstream or alternative, and either putting that source in danger or using compromised sources. Now we know how many even in the alt world are compromised. So yeah, Q thing was just, it was necessary, mind you. I mean, it wasn't necessary, but shit. Woo! What would we have done without it? Oh my God. Not that many people would be as activated, awakened, catalyzed as they are. I take Q with a grain of salt, somebody says. Fantastic. You should take everything with a grain of salt, right? Just don't take it with too much salt. Don't be that rigid skeptic that throws out perfectly good information just because they're too damn skeptical, because it doesn't fit into their rigid belief system that they've concocted for themselves, right? Don't be closed-minded. Your mind's like a parachute. It only works when it's open. But you don't want to be so open-minded that your brains fall out, okay? I see a lot of people go both ways. We have the rigid skeptics and we have the people that just get caught up with any little bit of information that sounds wonderful, or in that moment sounds like it's right, but it's only superficially right, you know. Stop shilling for NASA. How am I doing that? A lot of trolls in these comments. Thanks for the super chats, my friends. I'm gonna have to get some mods on this one of these days. Anything else on that topic? On the topic of Q, of the disinfo attacks that are going on? Huh. Am I high or drunk? No, neither, in fact. And this is pre-workout. About to hit the gym. Green tea, coconut oil, rhodiola, some other things. Ooh, let's just talk about 9/11 for a sec. That's coming up. Should be interesting. 6 days. What is going to happen on 9/11? Obviously, a lot of people are going to be very passionate and active with getting the truth out there. There's going to be a lot of people that never forget. All right? Very curious what posts we're going to get from that certain letter of the alphabet. Very interesting. And then a lot of people are thinking FISA declassification this week. We'll see. We will see. Israel did 9/11, somebody said. You can't generalize. I think we need to get more specific with our descriptions. You know, America's not bad. It's the rogue factions that have taken over control structures in America that are bad. Israel didn't do 9/11, but we have rogue intelligence, military-industrial complex factions that have taken over Israel. They're the ones that likely had a very big hand in it, right? Mossad, as many say. So, there you go. I do agree. And what's just interesting is that in the recent Newsweek articles, and what we're seeing about 9/11 come out, is that they're saying, yeah, the CIA had some secrets about it, and Saudi Arabia had a hand in it, maybe possibly, but no, it was no inside job with George Bush, and no, Israel had no connection to it, these crazy conspiracy theorists. It's like, it's that limited hangout, right? It's that bait and switch psyop. They're giving you a piece of the truth. It's not even really the truth. It's like a twisted version of it that might sound good if you're just getting your feet wet in the truthing realm, conspiracy realm, right? But it totally bait and switches you away from the deeper, darker truths. And that's what Alex Jones tried to do with Q, right? He had me on. They had me on. INFOWARS had me on their War Room radio show back in December? Was that late November? December last year? Anyway, yeah, we talk about Q. I briefed their audiences on it, etc., etc. And then, which I was excited to do, you know, let me talk about that for a sec. Yes, I've been on INFOWARS, but at the time, I had, you know, I was open-minded to the idea of INFOWARS being better than I think they are now. And yeah, of course, you know, I had a new channel. Channel was much smaller back then, so I was very excited to have them invite me on, talk about certain things, talk about Q. Heck yeah, I was excited, you know? But then they invited me back, but never to talk about Q again. And you think, with how much it was blowing up, that they would have me back on to talk about Q. Nope. Second time was about the secret space program, Black Projects, which was cool to talk about. But again, why would they have Jack Posobiec on Alex Jones to talk about the Space Force declassifying the secret space program? Why not someone like much more familiar with the topic? Funny. Not only that, and the third time I was on INFOWARS was like February, I think, and talk about just censorship. Like, never Q again. But then Alex runs with his own Q. Runs with his own narratives on it. Runs with his own insider. He would call up now and again. What up, Zach? Give me that intel, Mr. Zach. Limited hangout. Understand that term. Really get to know what a limited hangout is. Because not only, I mean... Oh no! I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. Blows. Alright, we'll finish this up. Limited hangout. Anything you're seeing right now with so much... With the internet, with Q, with people hyperactive, just searching for the truth, hungry for it, you're going to be seeing a lot of this go on. I was just mentioning 9/11. I mentioned limited hangout in terms of the secret space program and ET disclosure quite a bit, because we're also seeing that go on right now. We began seeing that in December of last year. And limited hangout in regards to everything. Shit. The deep state, rogue factions, call them what you want. They want to give you a piece of the pie because they know, oh shit, the public, they wants the truth. Oh God, so they want to craft that little narrative to give us that they want to pacify us. But we ain't dumb. We activated. We're smart. And we're connecting, which is important. It's the most important thing. So that limited hangout is not going to happen. And that's all I have for this one, guys. Take care.